Well, good early afternoon, Facebook friends. Chief Meteorologist Candace King in the First Warn Weather Center. Just wanted to give you an update on some of the weather we have moving through right now. Probably have heard a few rumbles of thunder, maybe even have seen some lightning, but wanted to give you an update on some of the thunderstorms that we have moving through. Overall, our threat for severe weather stays fairly low here as we go through the early part of this afternoon. Greatest threat for severe weather definitely off to the east of us. Hello to everyone that is joining us here. Let me turn this down just real fast so you guys don't hear the feedback on that. But I wanted to give you kind of a rundown on what we're expecting over the next couple of hours. Now, there is a tornado watch that has been issued. These are for the counties you see here in yellow for Boone, DeKalb, and McHenry County. And then this extends out through Chicago as well as out through Indiana. And that is where the greatest threat is going to be. Early on today, there were actually quite a few thunderstorms that developed across southern Illinois, Indiana, and even western parts of Kentucky with tornadoes down around the Paducah area, Evansville, Indiana. It's been very, very active, and that's where a lot of the severe weather will stay. However, we have had a couple of these thunderstorms pop up and a little more of an uptick in some of the lightning over the past couple of minutes with these. So these are kind of feeding into a little bit of instability. You've probably noticed the sunshine that we've had out here throughout much of this afternoon. So with that is helping to provide a little bit of instability for these storms to develop on. Now we'll look at the radar and kind of the motion of these. Cynthia says it's raining in sheets here in Belvedere. Yeah, we are going to get some heavy rainfall with these thunderstorms as they move through because we do have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. And the general motion of these is to the northeast. These are quickly moving off to the northeast, but there'll be frequent lightning. Can't even rule out the possibility of some pea to maybe dime-sized hail. There are a couple of stronger thunderstorms that are right near and south of Belvedere, kind of in southern sections of Boone County, and then moving across southern portions of McHenry County. If we look at kind of the velocity of this or spin, I don't see any rotation, so that is definitely some good news. But there is that instability factor because we've been able to see some sunshine, so that's helped build up a little bit of instability here in the atmosphere. So that's where we've got these thunderstorms that have moved on. Once these pass through, there's very little development back off to the southwest here, and we actually get a little bit more cloud cover. So the greatest instability, if I outline this for you, is actually kind of right up in through here. And we've got that here, but then we've got some higher instability out here. And that's where the greatest threat is going to be as these storms lift to the east and northeast, is going to be out towards Chicago and then into Indiana. We've got the cloud cover filling back in here to the west of us. So we're going to lose some of that instability as we kind of get on the backside of this low. So once this initial band, this arcing band of showers and thunderstorms moves through, that is pretty much going to be it. Again, the biggest threats with these are going to be heavy downpours, maybe some pea-sized hail. The freezing level in the atmosphere is fairly low, so it doesn't take much for these thunderstorms to rise to actually drop back below freezing. In fact, if we kind of take a little splice of the atmosphere, you look at how tall these thunderstorms are, and they're not really that tall. I mean, we're only talking about 10, 11, 12 1,000 feet in the atmosphere. So these aren't big supercell thunderstorms. It's just enough and just a little bit of oomph and kind of wind shear in the atmosphere to allow these thunderstorms to develop. We continue to watch that one that's through Belvedere and southern portions of McHenry County. We'll go right back here to the radar. And we'll flip this right back over so you guys can see. Again, these are quickly moving off to the northeast, roughly at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Greatest instability, once again, is closer to Chicago and then back out towards Indiana. There's actually a tornado warning earlier down on the southern tail end of one of these thunderstorms there south of Chicago, just with some of that broad rotation going in. Now, there is a warm front that is to our north. So we do have to watch some of those thunderstorms that may kind of latch on to that warm front because it's very well possible that you might get a little bit of rotation associated with that. But right now, don't see a whole lot with these as these storms are moving off to the northeast. I want to look at the rotation once again. I mean, if we look at the difference that you see here from going to red to green, this is just a difference in which radar we're looking at. So right now we're looking at the Chicago radar. If we go a little bit to the north, we're looking at the Milwaukee radar. If we go back to radar, you can see we've got our thunderstorm. This is our reflectivity. Going to velocity, you don't see very much spin in that. With that here, you got just maybe little tiny bit of rotation associated with that, but it's very, very broad and probably most likely nothing too significant. I'd be a little bit more concerned if we saw it on both radars, but since it's only showing up on one and we're getting closer now to the Milwaukee radar, not overly concerned. Again, our greatest threat with this is more than likely going to be those heavy downpours as well as hail that we'll see with these thunderstorms as they move through. But these are quickly lifting up to the north and northeast. We'll move out of Illinois probably within the next 45 minutes to an hour. And then things will be a little bit more quiet here as we head through the afternoon because there's very little development back here. So a lot of this is kind of across north central, northeast Illinois, and will continue to further develop to the north and east following out ahead of that low pressure system, which is currently right in through here. So it's spinning up through Iowa. So we're a little bit more stable in the atmosphere once we get through back off to the west of us. But just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what we can expect here as we go through this afternoon. If you do have any storm reports or anything, please feel free to pass those along. And of course, if any additional reports come out or any warnings come out, we will be sure to update you right here as well as on air.